All right, good night to everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. You had a little break from training today due to the major holiday. My name is Ron Lashley, aka Pit Daddy, and I am welcoming you to another Take Profit night. So you want to make sure you get your teams on the call, let them know, hey, it's about to go down. We have some amazing analysis to give you tonight. We got some tips that we want to share with you, how to use the MetaTrader 4, how to use limits on your MetaTrader 4 as well. Guys, you want to make sure that your team is plugged into these sessions, right? So that you don't have to be asking questions all the time, where all the solutions are found right here. So let me see who's on the call so far. You could drop it in the chat where you're from. Get to shout your team, your accountability partner, your educators. As we get ready to get started, guys. All right, so we have 246 believers on the line. We got a shift from St. Martin. Believers in the house. Shouts to Mr. Ron Lashley. Hey, you know that guy? 7-figure freedom. Huge shouts to Paula. Shouts Nikki. Shouts to Mario. Hey, shouts to Denise. What's going on, Andrea, Shanice, Rudy, Nadia? What's up? What's up? Wealth Dynasty is in the building. So here's what we want you to do. Go in your chats now, whichever chats you're in, and say that I am on, because we're about to get started in 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. What's going on, Allison? Derek? It's always great to come together as traders from all across the world to sharpen our skills, form solutions, learn different techniques. This is where you get better, guys. This is where you start to grow. And if you're new, no problem. Actually, let me see all the persons who are new, who got started within a month. I want you to type 1 in the chat if you are new. Because the first section of this training is for you guys. It is very, very important that as you got started, that you will go on an outline of what you need to have in order, not only just be in the academy, guys, but you want to make sure that you are, you know, you have your broker already set up. And we got 3 brokers that we mainly look at. Pepperstone is one. I'm going to type note in the chat. Pepperstone. We got FX Choice. All right. We got Hugo's Way. These are the 3 main ones, and we have some side ones as well. You know, like Forex, IC markets for those, for different territories as well. But these are the 3 main ones that you can look at if you're just going to start and you're looking to get your broker started out. So once you get your broker, verify your account, then you're able now to put your investment into that broker, and then you can actually start trading live, right? So with Pepperstone, recently they've just started doing a quiz before you can actually get to the stage where you can add your pictures to verify. So you're gonna make sure that you, when you're going through that, you know, contact your person who invited you in so that they can help you out with those questions as well, right? With FX Choice, guys, you know, all 3 of these brokers, you know, you need at least an ID card and or driver's license. For those who are in the States, you can use your driver's license. That primarily is one that's more popular and more acceptable for most brokers. And also like a bill or statement from your bank, you can use that as well. So that is general information for all brokers, right? With Hugo's Way, this is only taking Bitcoin, all right? So you have to do a two-step process in order to deposit money on Hugo's Way, all right? So there's something called InstaCoin that you have to set up along with the Hugo's Way account so that you can actually use your card. But if you already have Bitcoin and you have a Bitcoin wallet, you can actually use the Bitcoin and send it straight to Hugo's Way to actually fund that account. All the rest of the others can be funded by your card straight. Hugo's Way also only withdraws in Bitcoin. So that's the information for the brokers, guys. So you want to make sure that you take note of that. If you have any questions at the end, we will take them and make sure that you have the correct information. So how has been trading for you this week, guys? I want a 3 if it was good, 4 if it was, you know, par, right? 3 if it's good, and 4 if it was par. How has trading been for you this week so far? A 3.5. Bartolini par. That's like half a lot size, bro. So definitely we got some good weeks so far for most persons. You know, it has been very hectic early up in the week and coming on to the ending. You know, we had a huge bank holiday today, July 4th, so it has been very slow from yesterday afternoon all the way for today, and that is okay. All right, let the markets do its thing. You know, we're not trying to rush it. We're not trying to make the market into forming the structures that we want to see so that we can get results. So we want it to play out the way so that we can take pieces of the market. Our job is to make sure that we capture pieces of the structures that are happening, that are forming throughout the days that are coming through the week, right? So we know tomorrow on Friday, we have a huge day in the market. It's called something called NFP, right? National. Just pull that on the Forex Factory. All right, forexfactory.com for all your newbies. For if you want to see news, events, right, things that will cause the markets to do huge spikes, you can check out forexfactory.com. And this will give you a good idea. So you must be aware that news can, affect the market, and you want to be aware so that you will protect your profits as much as possible, or actually try to trade it for some of my advanced students, right? So 8:30 tomorrow, we have the CAD, employment change and unemployment rates for the Canadian dollar, and we also have the unemployment rates for the US dollar as well. So the Feds are going to come out and they're going to talk about if they're going to cut the interest rates for US dollar, what they're going to forecast for the next month or months to come, and that will have a reaction in the market, because a lot of the peers that we've been waiting to move, you will recognize that they we're struggling to even reverse, right? They're waiting on that information, and I believe, right, that the market is already telling its story about what is to come in the next couple of months. Okay, so you just need to be patient. You just need to make sure that you are ready in order to capture part of the market, right? No, this news doesn't really affect crypto, right? Crypto has its own problems or things that will affect it, and that's more of like investor point of view, right? The investor's point of view would affect more crypto than these set of news that you see here on Forex Factory, right? So moving along, no, I didn't share my screen for the Forex Factory because I believe everyone can go on the website, forexfactory.com, and be able to see that news. For USD CAD, we will get into that a little bit later about what we expectations for different pairs. But what I want to teach you or show all my new persons who are just going to start is how to utilize the MetaTrader 4 effectively. So I am going to share my screen from my phone. And let's see. Can you let me know if it pops up? I believe everybody can see my screen now. All right, great. So what we have here is our MetaTrader 4. Right? You downloaded the application. This is what you're going to see. You can automatically get a demo account from the MetaTrader 4 itself, but I do suggest that when you're registering with your broker and you got verified or you're waiting on verification, set a demo account with your broker, because it's going to give you an opportunity to have more peers options, right? So on your top right hand screen, you're going to see a plus sign. When you tap that plus sign, it's going to give you folders of different peers, different categories of peers as well. So we got crypto, we got the Forex crosses, the FX crosses, sorry, metals, indices, exotics, and it's going to give you every single one of these is a peer, right? So you can actually choose or add peers to your quotes that you have not seen before. So do not make a decision to enter a pair based on these flashing numbers. These flashing numbers only allow you to know that the pair is actually active with this broker. There are some brokers that have pairs that are not working with them. So therefore, when you see red and blue, it just gives you notification that, hey, these pairs actually work with this broker. So when you hold on a pair, you're going to have options where you can go to a new order where it sends you to go and place a trade. It also will give you option to go and look at the charts, just like on TradingView. You will have time and symbols and properties. These are additional information to actually help you to learn a little bit more about the pair. All right, so we're going to go to open charts, which is the second icon at the bottom also as well. All right, which is right here. right? Let's see if that comes up. Your second item, that's your charts, right? So with your charts now, you can make a decision looking at the trend. You could find your trend. All right, let me see. All right, there we go. You could find your trend. You could draw your trend line as well. And we're going to show you where you can go to actually get those tools that you can help draw on your phone. All right, because some of you, let me see how many persons actually trade with their phones. You could drop a 5 in the chat if you trade with your phones. You're not near a computer often enough. You have to use your phone. That's me, all right? When I'm not on a computer, I use my phone a lot more than I use my computer. When I use my computer, I'm looking for some bigger view pictures of understanding where the trade wants to go. But when I have to make a decision, I do it on my phone, all right? It is okay to use MetaTrader 4, all right? And that's the one that we use, MetaTrader 4, on your computer. You can download it straight from your broker as well. And the reason why we use that and not 5 is because 5 still has issues. 5 has issues and it needs to be completely debugged before you want to be using it, because there's some lagging issues that persons are still complaining about, and you want to make sure that you don't have lagging happening with your MetaTrader because that could be news event happening in a lag. You seen the candlestick afterwards when your account's still at 0, right? So you don't want those things to happen. So make sure that you have the 4. I mean, if you have 5 already and you are working with it, fine, right? But I still do suggest that you work with the 4 if you are new, right? And in conjunction with TradingView as well. So on the icons at the top, the first one is a ruler. This plus sign is a ruler. So you can literally find where price point is at, right? And with different pairs, there are going to be a lot more numbers at the side. On this right-hand side is like a ruler where the price is. So if I wanted an exact price point of where this last high was, that is 17.98. That's what my ruler would help me with, right? So tap it to get it off, tap it to get it back on. And the next one that's there is an F, which gives you the opportunity to add indicators. Now, indicators help you now to make a better decision of when to get in the market or not. But you can't just use indicators by themselves. Use it in conjunction with other knowledge that you have about the market, right? So naturally, you have the RSI, a relative strength index, that normally comes with standard with your MetaTrader 4, and then you can add your moving averages as well, all right? There's so many other things that you can add to their different strategies with the indicators. So the next icon is a S, a dollar sign. This is a shortcut to your peers, so I don't have to go back to quotes. This is a shortcut to it, and I can pick out my peer from here, right? Oh, my gold just dropped. Wow. Next to it is a clock. This is the time frames. This is where you get your time frames. So I could go between any time frame very fast, right? I make my decision with my phone, right? So remember, time frame meaning that on the 5 minute, a candle is formed every single 5 minutes. If I'm on the 15, every 15 minutes, a new candle is being formed. So make sure that you remember that when you are making decisions. So if you are analyzing on a higher time frame, make sure your entries go on a lower time frame. Do not enter on the same time frame that you are analyzing on. All right, you get better entries if you go a bit lower. And the last one, which is like a square with a plus sign in the middle, that actually sends you to new order. So you can actually go and place your trade in here, all right? And we're gonna talk a little bit about this. This is gonna lead into our second section. We're gonna invite very soon our next educator to get the ball rolling when we're talking about buy limits and sell limits, right? But let me just grace you on how to use this. This is where you get to make a decision and execute a trade. Now, there are 5 different types of execution. When you talk execution, all right, for some people, you may see instant execution or you may see market execution. All right, that means that you're going to enter the market right where price is currently. Okay, you're going to enter the market right where price is currently. That's what execution means. Now, all the rest, buy limits, the sell limits, the buy stocks, and the sell stocks, all those are called pending orders. And the reason they're called pending orders is because you have to wait till price gets to that point that you will have selected in order for your trade to activate. So if I'm doing a buy limit, it's going to give me the option right here to insert where I want price to be activated. The same thing for a sell a buy stop. All right, it's gonna give me that price point right there. Now, the difference is gonna come when you do execution, because you will not see a price point there because you're entering the market where it is currently at. All right, so please remember that. So if you're putting in information in your MetaTrader 4 and it's not going through, you either have your price is different from where current price is, or is too close to where current price is if you're doing pending orders. Therefore, you may have to execute. So if you saw a signal came out and you was trying to put in the stop for your signal and you realize it's not going through, look and see where current price is compared to where you got the price point from the signal. And see if it's gone past it. If it's too close, you may actually have to do an execution. All right. So on your left hand side, you will see, and this is for Androids, you will see a red line. That is your stop loss. On the right hand side, you will see a green line. That is your take profit. TP stands for take profit. SL stands for stop loss. And for the persons who are taking signals, EN would be for entry. All right. So EN, entry, SL, stop loss, take profit would be PP. All right. The person, please mute your mic. Thank you. All right, great. I'll take questions at the end. Now, this is how you go about placing your trade. Once you get the information, you plug in the information here. You choose a lot size that you would like. This is a lot size right here. All right. Your lot size is right up here. Not be going over zero. You practice proper risk management. All right. This is going to be key for your success. Proper risk management. All right. So I'm going to hand over to our top educator for the night, our main trainer for the night, Mr. Romario Wilkinson. And right before he comes, the last thing that I want to show you is actually, when you place an order, where you would see it. This is important. You place the order, it's going to show up here. This is the third icon at the bottom of your screen, right here. All right. And you can
I don't know. Yes, I'm using my phone, sir. I'm on a call.
All right, guys. I believe. Okay, he's back on now. He's back on. All right, just give him a second, and we will continue with the training.
Okay, I think I lost connection there just now. Sorry about that. But basically, I was just wrapping up and saying that, hey, you can close your trades from here, right? But just holding down on your pair. And you can also modify your trade as well. When you go to modify, you can actually change the take profit, which is your green line, or you can change your stop loss, which is your red line. Right? The only thing you can't modify is your lot size. Now, also, if you have a lot size of 0.02 and up, and you are good in profits, or even if you are in some negatives and you don't want all of that, or you want to take out some of it, you can go to close order and adjust the lot size that you want taken out. Right? So in all is a 0.02, which is $4.80 minus, and I want to take out, $2.40 of it, which is half of my lot size. I can do that as well. I can close out half of my lot size. So when you see information being sent in the signals group, saying, hey, close partial of your profits, this is what we mean. You can close out parts of your lot size of profits or even loss if necessary. Right? So guys, I want to turn it over to Mr. Yes, I'm actually trading oil. To Mr. Romario Wilkinson, he's been doing a fantastic job. Every single Thursday coming in and sharing tons of value. And I'm waiting, I'm looking forward to what he's going to share about tonight. So make sure you get your pens and papers if you haven't gone it before, and get ready to take some notes. Mr. Wilkinson, are you there?
User, always, always, every single time we have this call, the take profit call, you always come on and do a fantastic job with hosting, with training. So we really want to give it back to you, Ron, for sure, for doing a fantastic job so far. But good night once again to everyone on the line. This is the take profit call for the takeover team. For those persons who are in Barbados, around the world, or you're just here to learn how to trade, this call is definitely for you. Now, going forward, what we're going to do is to just recap on what we would have heard, just on what we would have seen on how to effectively use MetaTrader 4. Right? It goes even further than that, but a lot of persons, they might have some questions. Right? Save all your questions for the ending. Of course, we'll answer them. But tonight, what we're really going to touch on, it's the same thing that persons would have seen at the live sessions, the in-person sessions on Monday, right? That was the pending orders, how to effectively use a pending order, and of course, how to use the harmonic scanner, the ins and outs of it. Now, first of all, I just want to shout out some persons before we get started with that. Let me share my screen. You guys should be able to see the harmonic scanner right now. Boom, bang. All right, Anisha is on, Anika is on, Avery is on, Sherry, Chris, Crystal, Denise is plugged in. Right? I take the time to show your teams as well. We did that at the beginning, but of course, a lot more persons are on now. Deshaun Brown, that is Seven Figure Freedom for sure. Janice Agard is on. Kwame Kirk Seal, the Mounty Plan. Bombay Nadia Nards, I believe she's in 7FF. Nikki is on. Pam, Paula, everybody is on. Fantastic. Now we're going to touch first on the harmonic scanner and pending orders, right? In the trim on the charts chat, what we do is that we check to see what persons are really talking about. If they have certain questions about brokers, about certain trading terms, we like to break that down on this call. So if using pending orders, we know that a pending order is similar to a regular order. Let's say you go on Amazon. Let's say you order something online. You order a shirt, you order a phone, a laptop, anything like that. What you do is to put in your order and you wait for it to come to you. Right? As simple as that. You put in exactly what you want. You put in the type. You specify exactly what you want, and then you wait for it to come to you. It is the same thing with trading. Okay, just a second. Big up Avery and Kimberly. They got started yesterday. Fantastic. Now with pending orders, when you're doing that, you're setting up a trade or you're setting up an order so that when the candlesticks or the current price, you can see here, let's reset chart. Let's get a little closer. That took us a little further out. But when we reset the chart, these candlesticks, when these touch your entry point, that is the only time you'll be entered into a trade, full stop. Right? Now, this is covered in the IML Academy, but we really want to break it down for persons who are new to it. A lot of persons, when they first get started, all they do is market execution. Right? They enter they open their charts, they go on Forex Factory, they do all the right things, but all they know is market execution. What if there was a way for you to put in trades around the same time you leave for work or just before you go to sleep and get your night's rest, right? Go and do whatever you want to do and still make money, right? That is what we're going to touch on tonight. So the first one we're going to really touch on are limits, right? If persons didn't know, let me just type it in very quickly. There are limits and stops for pending orders, right? Now, these are just entries. Now, a lot of persons ask me, when do I use limits and when do I use stops? There is a diagram I'm going to show you in a minute, but we have to know something first about the market. The market is either going in an uptrend, you may find a clear downtrend here, or sideways. It's going in a sideways movement. That is clear. It's either going up, down, or sideways. We use these pending orders here to determine, if it's trending up, if it's trending down, we use a certain order. But if it's going sideways, we use a different order. Here's the thing. When we are using limits, all right, it isn't moving for me for some reason. Let's take it over. When we're using limits, that is when the market is going sideways. All right, the market is going sideways. It's as simple as that. We're going to show you on the chart. That's when we use limit orders. When we use stops, buy stops, sell stops, right? So on and so forth. That is when the market is trending. So if you didn't know that before, you want to take that note right now. You should be using limits when the market is going sideways. It goes much more advanced than that. But for right now, when the market is going like this, zigzag, a lot of zigzag motion, that's when you use limits. However, if you are late to the trend, or if you want to jump in the trend, that's when you use stops. All right, so let's pull up this diagram that we would have used before. And this diagram is really something that persons would have used to understand the information. All right, let's start with limits first. Limits is an order placed below price and then price goes up. Right, same for a sell limit. That is when the order is placed above price and then price goes down. If you can see clearly here, this is what happens. Let's just explain this even further. With limit orders, and if you have a notebook, if you're taking notes on your phone, that's totally fine. But listen carefully. With limit orders, some persons call this a boomerang effect. And we're going to show you on a live chart as well. Price would do what we say, going one direction and bounce off the specified line or entry point that you have, right? So it'll be going in one direction, it'll be going down, and at your entry point, it would bounce off and go up, right? Or reverse. Let's use that term. Same for a sell limit. Same boomerang effect, same reversal or bounce type movement. What happens with the sell limit? Price would be going up. It will touch your entry point or touch your line here and reverse and go in the next direction, or the opposite direction. Let's look at that on an actual chart, right? Because it's one thing to see a diagram, it's another thing to see an actual chart. So let's pull this up. This was the most recent that appeared once we open the harmonic scanner. Now, clearly we can see here that price is somewhat going sideways, right? If we didn't have, just have to remove this for just 1 second. You can see that price is bouncing up and down between here, right? It's going to refresh, which is totally fine. But what we're going to do again for limits, good. So for limits here, you can put bounce. When we're using a limit, you expect price to bounce off of a certain level or a certain line. You can see that price bounced on this level multiple times. The first, the second, and the last. Right, deleting this one more time. Again, the first bounce, second bounce, and the last bounce. So we expect price to bounce in this same zone or region if we use a limit. In this case, since we expect price to go up and then bounce from this point, this would be a sell limit. You're going to sell at your limit. All right, so let's move this here. Let's just label this quickly. Sell limit. Great. Now, if you didn't know, what some persons like to do is to put sell limits or limits on a whole at either the highest points in the chart or the lowest points in the chart, or on support and resistance lines. Again, some persons like to place limit orders because they know price is going to bounce off of the highest point or the lowest point in the chart, or even support and resistance lines. That's when you should mainly be using limits. Remember at the beginning, we said we're going to use limits when the market is moving sideways. Now, last thing is stops, right? Buy stops, sell stops. Why do you use a buy stop and a sell stop? That is when the market is trending. Let's look at this example here. Let's delete this. You can see that this is a clear uptrend. You're seeing higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and higher lows, so on and so forth. But persons would have entered the trade just, let's say, around here. Persons would have entered around this point, right? They would have done their own analysis. They did everything else in the harmonic scanner. The harmonic scanner said to buy here, and they want to re-enter a trade, right? A lot of persons, they're trading Bitcoin right now. There's a lot of action going on with Bitcoin. I saw a large drop today. We're going to touch on that if we have time at the end. But persons would have entered here. The harmonic scanner said to buy here, and we bought. Let's say you wanted to enter another trade. You wanted to continue or get into the uptrend, right? What we're going to do, instead of placing a limit at these points, we don't expect price to bounce. We expect price to continue. That is when we will place stops on this entire trend. So even if none of this was here before, what we're going to do is use a buy stop. Now, why do we use a buy stop? Because we expect price to buy. Again, we expect price to buy. If you're looking for price to continue in a certain direction, meaning it's going up, that's when you use a buy stop at particular points, right? And we're going to show you everything live one time. So at this point, let's label it very quickly here. I'll use my ellipse tool. Persons would have entered here. This is for those who can see, this is for the advanced traders if they know what I'm outlining. All right, just along those points or along those lines. All right, more so, yeah. So more so to entered here. If you can see the support resistance line right there. Good. So those will be buy stops. Sell stops again. I want to give you guys. This is some good structure here. If everyone can see it, let's move this RSA so we have more room. You can see this structure here. We saw one top, second top, and the third top. Well, this is looking like 4, but 3 touches on a resistance line, or we see 3 bounces, we expect a sell-off. Right now, if you would have missed this, persons would have placed a limit. Right, this is the highest point. You saw price bounce off of here. You would have placed a limit. Remember, before you use a sell limit. If you would have missed this sell limit, you can place a sell stop at any point in the chart, just going down to either your pip goal, which is like 20 pips or 50 pips per trade, or if you're using support and resistance, to the bottom of the resistance line or support line. All right, so you can see a support line here. Right, you just saw some consolidation here, but we saw one bounce, second bounce, fake out here, and somewhat of a bounce here. If you would have entered here at the top for limit, or you missed this, you would have placed a sell stop anywhere between here and your target. The target would have been here. Your take profit would have been at your support line. My phone is going crazy, guys. If you have questions, please ask your questions in the online call. Definitely don't want to be asking me on WhatsApp, right? Because we're going to play all of this information on the call itself, so that everyone can get the recording. So again, we're going to go through another chart. We're going to go through it until persons fully understand the difference between a limit and a stop. Right? We touched on this on Monday. You want to practice drawing it up on your own charts. We're going to do it on a live trade. All right, one more live setup before let me see if it is something else here. Here, Ron is in control. Ron is the host. Ron, if you can mute up the lanes, because we're going to save all the questions for after. Right? If you can mute all the lanes, that'd be fantastic, bro. So let's look at this. This trade is long gone. We know because the candlesticks, for those newer persons, the candles or the candlesticks here, even if you use Heikin-Ashi, I'm trying to practice using Heikin-Ashi candles now, right? Good. So even if you see a lot of candlesticks past D, for those who just got started, that means that the trade has already gone. Another way you know is that the candlesticks or price has already touched the take profit lines. All right, that's just by the side. That's just a side note. Now we can clearly see a down trend here. Now I need you guys to answer this question. If we can clearly see a down trend, do you think we should be using stops or do you think we should be using limits? Right? Anyone in the chat, right? Let me know very quickly. If we're in a down trend or an uptrend, or even if you just see a trending market, do you think we should be using stops or do you think we should be using limits? So one said stops. Everyone is saying stops. Why do we use stops? I'm going to answer that question. All right, let's look for a consolidation here very quickly so that everyone can understand the different. Just seeing a lot of trends with this chart. This is Chef. This is a good trending chart. Okay, great. We see some consolidation here. Right, let me just mark it out for you. And again, I'm doing all this analysis on the harmonic scanner so you guys can see exactly how we use it. Good. So again, we have a sideways market. You're going to see this in multiple charts that you use. But in this sideways market, this is exactly when persons will be using limit orders. Or if you had a rectangle, this would be just around here. All right, but no, let's see it here. So good, we saw one touch. Bring this down. Good. We saw one touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch, fifth touch. A lot of touches on this line. Here's another tip. If you're drawing support and resistance lines, right? Or if you are drawing supply and demand, that's another term that we're going to touch on another call. All right, but if you're using supply and demand zones, the line will be even stronger if you have a touch above and below the line itself. What do I mean? You saw a touch above the line and you saw a touch below the line. If you went through the academy with Christopher Derrick before, he would have clearly stated that you would have seen price break through a certain line and retest, but we won't touch on that right now. You're going to see a touch above and below the line, meaning it was a strong support. No, it's a strong resistance, right? If you scroll, where you would have seen some happening here again. But we're here now. We're mainly going to be using limits in order to catch this move or these moves. Okay, great. Now, if you would have only used limits, let's watch this. If you would have only used limits, no market execution, there's nothing wrong with market execution. There's nothing wrong with only using stops. There's nothing wrong with only using limits. You just have to know that if you only use limits at this point, let's label them very quickly so that we can carry on with the code. I believe this is the arrow tool here, down, and I want multiple. How do we turn this on? Stay and drawing more. I think that's it. Okay, good. Boom, boom. So these are fairly big. But anyways, you guys get the drift. All right. If we only enter the limits for these points, triple tops or W's and M's, if those persons, if you're familiar with that, if you're only looking for W's and M's in the market, so one, just turn on the video. Ron, if you could turn off that video real quick, that'd be fantastic. You don't want any distractions for this call, right? I think it is Sophia that just came on. Anyways, if you want to use limits, you're looking for W's and M's. Some persons can see M's in this pattern, some persons can see W's, which is totally fine, right? I'm still working on it. I still have to review it, so I'm not going to teach it. You would have used a sell limit or a buy limit here. Answer me in the chat. Would you guys would have used a sell limit or a buy limit at this line? If you just put a sell limit on this line multiple times, you would have won 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5.5 trades. 5.5 trades on just support and resistance lines. And knowing when to use a limit and when to use a stop. If you used a limit in between here, right, in between the consolidation, right, in between here, we're seeing a lot of movement, you would have been hurt in the market, right? Because again, we're using support and resistance lines, or for this case, it's mainly supply and demand. All right, so good. Now let's look at trending market clearly here. I'm going to add something called flags for this training. All right, this will just tie into the last part of the training. We're seeing a clear uptrend, clear as day. All right, boom, bang. Let's just delete this so we can see it clearly from the recording. We saw this uptrend and we wanted to use stops in the market. What some persons would do is to wait for, and I'm going to use some terms now. If you don't know the terms, you can ask at the very end. Persons would have waited for the impulsive move. Let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see clearly. Good. Persons would have waited for this, an impulse move or strong move to the upside, and then a flag. Persons again waited for the up move or the impulse, and then a flag. I'm going to show you how to use stops with these. Impulsive move, flag. Impulsive move, flag. This flag is ugly. Hold on, give me a sec. Let me fix it. And you can see it multiple times in the chart. All right, I'm going to show you how to use it with remedy as well. Good. So if you only use impulse and impulsive moves and flags, if you were to couple this with the same remedy strategy on the harmonic scanner, you would have used the MACD. Let's pull that up. MACD, MACD on a lower time frame, and you would have seen the breakout here. Once you see a breakout, or you're expecting a breakout of a trend line, you can place your stops. Give me a second. Let's say this was the most recent here. You can place your stops above the previous heights. Right? If it was a sell, you would have placed your stop below the previous low. But for this one, you would have placed a buy stop above this high here. If you didn't want to wait around or wait even further for the MACD to cross, right? Which is totally fine. Some persons just prefer to wait for the MACD. However, persons would have used this point here as a confirmation for their stop, buy stop, and it would have brought this up. Same thing here. You saw the impulse, you saw the flag. Persons would have used this point here as their entry for their buy stop. So would have placed a buy stop just above this line here. Let me draw this flag a little better. All right, so these two wicks here, persons would have placed their stops above here. You saw no drawdown. You would have gone in with this and caught the move. I think this is the last one here. Again, you saw the impulsive move and this flag. You use this point as your buy stop line or your entry for your buy stop, and of course no drawdown. You just went up with the same move, so on and so forth. You saw this impulse here, same example. Impulse here, flag there. Place your. I'm just looking a bit jumbo. Let me just draw the flag. You could have placed your buy stop either above the last leg here or above this last leg here, entered and gone with the trade. So if you can see multiple, I mean, it's happening multiple times here, right? This one here, you saw some drawdown, you saw a lot of drawdown, so you would have probably hit stop loss, all right? But for this one, persons would have again used a buy stop to continue the trend. So if you want to catch continuations in the market, if you want to catch moves that are already trending, that's when you use stops. Now I want to pull up the most recent chart, but I'm going to pause here for questions so we can make sure everyone is very, very, very clear with the trending so far. All right, let's check the chat. Okay, good. If you set your take profit at a higher point than the take profit at the end of the trade, will you make a profit? Okay, again, if you set your take profit at a higher point than the take profit at the end of the trade, will you make a profit? I'm not too sure I understand the question, but I assume you mean if you use a different take profit that is given to the harmonic scanner, if you're still going to make a profit. If that is the question, the answer is yes. All right. Once you hit buy and price goes up, you'll make profit. If you hit sell and price goes down, past your entry line, I should say, that's when you make profit. Another question: how you put this in the market execution? how you put this in the market execution. If you mean MetaTrader 4, right? I think that's what you mean. You can let me know if I'm wrong again. If you mean MetaTrader 4, and you go to enter a new order, or remember you select the pair first. In this case, it is Euro NZD. You select this pair on MetaTrader 4, you hit new order, and then you'll see you can always rewatch the recording. You can go back to, I think it was like 15 minutes in. Mr. Lashley would have gone through the trade screen. You hit market execution, that bar at the top and not at the bottom of the screen. You want to hit market execution at the top, and a list will come down, right? A list of the pending orders will come down. That is where you enter. That's when you select, sorry, which one you want to use, a limit or a stop. It's very, very important to note that the market execution is at the top, not at the bottom. Okay, good. We answered some questions. So since we know how to use pending orders, since we know how to use market execution, since we know how to use the remedy strategy, we're going to couple all of that in the last 10 minutes of this call to look for some setups. If you want to do market execution, that is fine. If you want to, when I say market execution, I mean just with the remedy strategy. If you want to, or if you prefer to use stops, like buy stop or sell stop or even limits, you can do that as well, right? So let's draw this out here. Remedy strategy, everyone should know how to use it. So boom, 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 down the road. Down the road. I already selected the Heikin-Ashi candles. I've already drawn the trend line, highest point to lowest point, or at least multiple touches. So one touch, second touch. This is almost a touch here. This will be the fourth touch. This is the fake out, but this will be the fourth touch and another touch here. So this is a strong trend line. For the remedy strategy, this isn't a recap. It should have been either at the in-person sessions, or if this is your first time seeing it, you got started recently, there's a video that Mr. Lashley he would have created. You can always check that out in your own time. All right, so good. We already drew this. We're waiting for the candles to break through the same trend line here. We're waiting to see a strong impulsive move, not a low itty bitty candle break the line. We're waiting to see a strong move to the upside, as well as the break in histogram, where we see a clear break in histogram here. Both lines have already crossed the zero line, or they would have already broken the histogram, but we haven't seen price break the trend line. So that is just one confirmation. Remember, in confluence or confirmations, you really want to do the same thing you're doing when you look to cross the street. Before you cross the street, regardless of wherever it is, you're going to look left and right. Why do you do that? It's for confirmations. You don't just run across the street. You always want to look left. Look left to see if the two lines would have crossed the histogram, and look right to see if the candlesticks would have broke the trend line. All right. If you want to add more confirmations, like you want to add an EMA, like a 50 moving, 50 EMA, just like so. I'm just going to settings, change the length to 50. That's what some persons like to use. I'm going to change this up a bit. And this part you don't have to do. This is just extra sauce. This is just like buggy sauce, if you want to call it that. All right, some persons like to wait until it breaks above this line as well. Some persons just like support and resistance, which is totally fine. All right, if I remove this line here, boom, and it'll just look at this. I can see that this is a clear support and resistance line. So I'm going to use my horizontal ray here. I'm going to show you guys what I mean again. Making this stick. Alright, let me remove this again. So good. We saw bounce, that came out very quickly. Good. So a bounce, another bounce here. If you want to wait for price to break above this line, come back down to retest, or come back down to pull back. right? You can do that. You can wait for that. There are multiple ways to trade, right? There's a one step way that you have to follow. You should follow one strategy, but I'm here saying that you need multiple confirmations. The more confirmations, the better. And of course, if you understand how to use the tools effectively, inclusive of the harmonic scanner, you're going to be good to go. Right? Let me see. What time is it? Yes, fantastic. It's 4 minutes to 9 o'clock. So it would have covered everything I wanted to cover just in time. Right? Mr. Lashley came on and shared the MT4, how to effectively use an MT4 if you're going to enter a trade for the first time. But this is very pause again for questions in the chat. All right, you're gonna have some questions here. Guys want to ask, you can ask here. If not, for the last 2 minutes, I'm just gonna find at least one more trade setup we can send either in Chairman on charts or even the signals group. All right, shout outs to the signals group as well. You guys are doing a fantastic job. If you are new and you are a part of the Takeover Signals group, just ask to be added, ask your leader to add you to the group. You have to be active to join the same takeover group. So when you finish draw all of these lanes, do you wait for the market to end or do you enter the trade? The answer to that is I trade what I see. Right? Or professionals, I should say, they always trade what they see. Right? So I expect something to happen, but I don't see it as yet. What do I mean? I expect this to bite. Why do I expect this to bite? The harmonic scanner, first thing first, is telling me to buy because the D is at the bottom, or is at the lowest point in the chart. That's one. Secondly, is that this trend line has been touched. Let me move this in real quick. This trend line has been touched multiple times, so it's getting weaker. I expect this to break above. Right? If you know patterns and stuff, that means that this is going to reverse. Now, when it does break the line, when it does break this trend line, or it does break above this support resistance line, I already saw a confirmation here. That is when it will trade and not before. A lot of persons, their mindset is that, yes, I know it will buy. I know this is the pattern indicating a buy. So I'm going to market execute right now and, just put on my phone and do whatever, right? Sometimes that works, but the majority of the time it is traders' mindset to trade what you see and not what you think. Right? A lot of persons are eager. You're seeing multiple confirmations here, which is fine. But even if I do not see what I should see, I will not enter the trade. So I hope that answers your question. You want to enter only when you see the setup is ready. This isn't ready as yet. I still have to see, like I said, the breaks of the lanes first. Another question, so just to be clear, the only place buy stops at the top of the flag in the market trending to the upside and never at the bottom of the flag. If you're going to place it at the bottom of the flag, I would say to use, if you're using like Fibonacci or something like that. All right, and this is just for you since you asked. All right. So if I use Fibonacci here real quick, this is just by the way, guys, right? So you don't have to do this. This is just fairly advanced information. So if I use, okay, that looks ugly. Let me hold on here. Let me ask you a question first, though. The question is, right? If you just put stops to the upside or at the top of flags, yes, that's what you do. Right? When I see a flag and I see some highs forming or some wicks forming, I like to place my stops above those wicks. Right? You could just rewatch your recording and see exactly what I mean. Right? Okay, good. All right. So you don't have to go into Fibonacci and stuff like that too. That'll be for another call. Right. So it's 9 o'clock on the dot. Not seeing any other questions in the chat. So I really hope you guys took away from this call some things with MetaTrader 4, how to effectively use it. If you only trade from your phone, that's fantastic. If you only trade, I would assume the majority of persons on this call using the harmonic scanner, that's also great. I do as well. The professional traders do as well. What we do is to look for the setup. What some person looks to do is to see if it's going to buy or sell and then do their own analysis. That is fine too, because you're leveraging a system, right? You're just going to save yourself time, energy, and money, or if you use this system here. Also, we touched on pending orders, when to use them, when to use a limit, when to use a stop, how to enter using a limit. Remember, limits are when the market is moving sideways, and stops is when you see a lot of trends in the market, right? Please rewatch the recording if you can to go through the information. You can also plug into IML TV. If you don't want to hear from us, that's totally fine. If you just want to plug into the traders on IML TV, just remember is that you're going to plug into a certain set of persons. You don't want to go to anybody and then just flood or saturate yourself with a lot of information, right? The aim is to have a set strategy, a set trading plan, and a set growth plan. Huge difference. Growth plan and trading plan, two different things. Right? Once you have those, you continuously check where you would have lost and where you would have gained in the market, and you continuously plug in, you will be good to go. But that's it for this trading call. What we're also going to do is to place a schedule, or at least a timetable for the entire month. So for the 4 trading calls in the month, we're going to have what we're going to cover for each day, each trading day online. So you guys would expect, this is, well, today we're going to touch Fibonacci, and today we're going to touch market structure. Today we're going to touch MT4 and pending orders, or MT4 and entries and stuff like that too. So look out for that graphic coming up very, very soon. I look out for some more information coming in Chairman on the charts or the other Telegram groups. All right. Again, huge shout outs to Mr. Lashley, Mr. Ron Lashley, aka Pip Daddy himself, doing a fantastic job on crushing the charts. All right. The last question before I end today's call. Okay, given the time, I'll ask my question in the WhatsApp group. No problem at all. Once there's a setup like a buy stop app, once there's a setup like buy stop, sell stop, and limits, that means it's time to enter. Again, once there's a setup like buy stops, remember pending orders are there to be automatic. All right. So when price touches a certain, or when the candlesticks touch a certain price or they get a certain point, it will automatically enter. All right. So it doesn't go on time. It goes on if it's at your entry point or not. That's it. Send your questions in the Chairman on the Charts group or the Telegram Trade Zone group. I will be sure to answer every and all to the best of our ability. My name again is Romario Wilkinson. We ended the call partially on time, but every single Thursday we're here to give you guys more information and more value. How I end every single call, every single session, every single training. You want to join the flight or get flown over. Boom.